It's time to break down some football.
We got to get our mind right. Touchdown, win.
From the perspective of guys who played in the NFL.
Caught, touchdown!
And a guy who had one really great sack in high school.
Oh, you're so weak. You're a waste of my time.
Greg Camarillo and Marcus McNeil are the pros, and Scraby is the Joe.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Two Pros and a Joe starts right now.
I can't believe we've made it to the Super Bowl. We've said this a million times, guys, but the Super Bowl 55 is finally here. It's going to be in Tampa. By the way, they're not allowed to use the cannons in Tampa if the team scores or whatever, get a sack. You know how at home during Buccaneers games, they have the pirate ship that fires off the cannons? Well, now that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at home, the NFL has told them to keep the cannons to a minimum so that you don't get home field advantage, which is kind of crazy.
I support that, unless you go cannons both ways.
Well, that would be a lot of cannons.
It would be a lot of cannons. But,
you get one chance. You get one chance to make it to the Super Bowl, like when it comes to your city. And now I can't bang off my cannons? Why did I just make it to the Super Bowl? This is my home field advantage. That's some bullshit. It should be home field advantage. This is the first one. They should have let that shit ride.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this was going to be such a polarizing topic to start the show. Two Pros and a Joe. Greg Camarillo, 8 years in the NFL. Marcus McNeil, 6 years in the NFL. I am Scraby, and I had one sack in high school. And then my arm ripped off during trying to tackle Maurice Jones-Drew, as we said on the last podcast. If you want to find us on social media, at Catch Camarillo, at Marcus McNeil 73, at Matt Scraby, and our producer at Odd Thomas 71. Last thing of business, at Two Pros and a Joe on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And then if you have any comments or questions or anything you want us to talk about, I created an email, twoprosandajoe@gmail.com. I will check it. It's the number 2, PROS and a Joe @gmail.com. But we have the Super Bowl to talk about here, and it's a doozy. It really is a doozy. This is like the best Super Bowl. I think we said it last week. The NFL is just like loving the football gods for putting the old goat and the baby goat together in the Super Bowl. So first thing, what do you guys think? Who wins the quarterback matchup? Because everybody might say Patrick Mahomes. JT O'Sullivan said Patrick Mahomes. But why are we saying Patrick Mahomes when Tom Brady seemingly wins every time he does? People don't think he can win. Why? I don't know.
Because he's better. He's the better quarterback. And this is not a career contest. This is not the Super Bowl of careers. This is the Super Bowl of 2021. And in 2021, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. He is way better than Tom Brady. And all we had to do was go back 1 week. And Tom Brady threw 2 picks. He did his best Jameis Winston impersonation for the Bucs.
He did. I
mean, he still, the thing about it is no matter how many picks he throws, he's still got that clutch sauce. And it's just not going to happen for him this year, man. Patrick Mahomes is by far the better quarterback. And I think that's going to be the differentiation in the game, Patrick Mahomes' skills.
Guys, y'all know Patrick has been my Mahomie. But for some reason, I just don't feel like they set this whole game up.
Don't say it.
For Tom to, be the first team ever to have Super Bowl home field advantage, him to leave the Patriots, his first year go Super Bowl bust and he's in the Super Bowl, and then him drop this ball. It's just hard for me to swallow that pill right now. You know what I'm saying? Like at the beginning of the season, it's Super Bowl or bust. How many people can even hold that weight on their shoulders? And Tom is here right now, not potentially next year. Not what can he do when he's had a year in the system and now he can catch his groove. He's here right now, year one, and you gonna count him out?
I'm not.
I am.
Come on, have you seen their roster? Like, I mean, bro, like for some reason I'm smelling who's picked the favorite. Clearly, KC is the favorite.
KC, yeah.
Three or 3.5.
Three. I think it's 3.
Yeah.
I'm smelling a little bit of an upset coming, guys. I'm smelling.
Can you really call it an upset though with Tom Brady at quarterback? I mean, I don't think I can call that an upset. He's the GOAT.
Comeback. You can't call it a comeback.
But it was that same situation going into Green Bay. The Green Bay was favored. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP year, and Tom Brady comes up on top. And to me, that's an upset, man. It was all set up for Aaron Rodgers to be that dude, but you couldn't stop.
That is an upset. I'll give you that. Okay, I can see how you're saying that. But now but that was also away in Green Bay at Lambeau Field, and now, like Marcus said, they're at home. I mean, it might not. I think they are the home team, and it's not going to really count as like a home game, but they are at home, and I bet you those Buccaneers fans show up in force because I think 25,000 people are going to be allowed in the stadium, and then get this 35,000 cutouts. Like, whose job is that? I'm glad it's not mine. Glad it's not mine.
I do have to give them some love for getting the vaccinated healthcare workers some free tickets to come in there. I love that.
That is cool. That is cool. And it also creates less controversy because you're like, oh, they're spreading COVID in the stadium, but you're like, no, suckers, they're vaccinated, so suck it.
We're good.
So you think Patrick Mahomes, even though he has the turf toe,
he said he's almost 100% with the turf toe. He said,
but the one thing about turf toe that I will say, it's one of those nagging injuries to where like just the slightest thing, the slightest jam of your foot, the slightest thing can like re-irritate that. So like it's almost like a hamstring to me, right? Like
you can tweak it or something.
Yeah, you can tweak it and you can feel it and you can run on it probably pretty good. I know Greg will probably know more about this because you reach top speed a lot more than I did on the football field. But, you know, like you can feel it when it's grabbing and you can kind of back off of it a little bit. But it's always nagging. And, you know, turf toe is a lot worse than people like make it seem. It sounds like, you know, oh, he just has turf toe. He could just, you know, get some new toes or some new turf.
Get some new toes.
Yeah, but it's like actually your ligaments being messed up in your big toe, which is like, I don't know how many people run that fast out here, but that's the main toe out here that's giving you your juice.
Not only
all big for a reason. All right, gentlemen, we're 7 minutes in and we've made it to the first Camarillo case study.
Yes, let's go. I'm ready. It's been too long.
I have visual evidence for this one and I'm slightly embarrassed by it.
Oh my gosh.
2008, I had a turf toe injury. I am not over it, and because of it, I wear these disgusting dad shoes right here.
Yeah. Steph Curry's.
Oh, isn't that bad?
You got the Steph Curry's.
Isn't that bad?
Why do you have to wear the dad shoes? Because like your toes just permanently messed up?
I have permanent arthritis in my big toe because of turf toe. Because like Big Mac said, every time you push off, you re-injure it. So I literally had a steel plate, some kind of metal plate in my shoe so it wouldn't bend. But as a receiver and as explosive as Patrick Mahomes is, every time you bend and push off like that, it re-injures it. So it is absolutely going to be a problem, but he's going to get a shot. He's going to be okay. He's still Patrick Mahomes. He's still better than Tom Brady until he puts on those New Balances that I just
Did you see what Robert Saleh said, the new head coach of the New York Jets, who was the 49ers defensive coordinator in last year's Super Bowl? He said, never trust Patrick Mahomes with his old man shuffle after the play like his feet hurt. Because apparently that's a tell, or he does that to make you think that he's hurting, but he's not. And have you know what I'm talking about? The Patrick Mahomes shuffle?
I thought he just walked funny. I don't think that's intentional. I think he's making
Robert Saleh said that's what he told his team. Maybe that's why the 49ers lost. Greg and I were looking through last year's game, and they were up 20-10 with 6 minutes left in the game, and the 49ers still lost 31-20. I don't even know how that's possible, but
that's that business shuffle, man. There's no way that's intentional to throw off the defense. If so, then he's even more goaty than I thought. But
he's even more goaty. Well, I think when you look, Marcus said it, look who Tom Brady has in his team. Look who Patrick Mahomes has on his team. The outwardly with the names, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill scare me more than Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. because
Gronk.
Gronk is there, but Gronk isn't like, he's not the Gronk. He's not the Gronk that we know he is. Marcus is giving me the eyes right now. What do you say, Marcus?
You know what he is, Gravy? He's that security blanket.
He's the security blanket.
He's that security blanket. Like when you get flustered, there's something you can go to that you know is always going to be okay. It's like that Netflix show when you're looking for something and you can't find anything new and good, but you can always go back to like Friends or whatever it is that you watch.
Pawn Stars.
Yeah, Gronk is Brady's Pawn Stars. Whenever he needs a good episode that's running up the hash 20 yards deep without a safety, he's there for him. Presses play. So that's just a little safety hash. Is he dominant? No, but when Tom needs him, he's gonna be there for him.
It's gonna be a good game. I want to. Everything in me is saying go with Patrick Mahomes. Go with Patrick Mahomes, and then everything in my mental is like, you watched Tom Brady beat your ass. You watched him. He literally could do this again, like at any moment, So it's kind of like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't situation.
Yeah.
One thing I was talking about today that I think is worth mentioning is how bad it would suck for this to be your one and only Super Bowl. So normally a Super Bowl is a 2-week festival. Players get their weekend events, but there's events. You bring your family, you live it up. And I'm not saying necessarily go to the club every night, but there's activities and something to do every day where you get to live your fame of being in the Super Bowl. There is zero.
There's not a lot of buzz around this game. The buzz is the media buzz is there, but I just don't feel like it's Super Bowl. I'm looking around because you can usually feel it's Super Bowl time. It's in the air. The Super Bowl is around the corner, and I just don't see it at the grocery stores. I don't see it at work because no one's here anymore. I don't see it anywhere. It's just a little weird, and you're right. That would suck. I mean, I've been to 2 Radio Rows, and I get to see all these guys and how much fun they're having. It's more of like a Radio Row is a big networking party for former NFL players because they can come back. They all get to go and relive all the cool memories and everything, and then you get to network at the same time. So it'll be back hopefully next year, but this year you're right. If this is your one, like Chris Godwin, this is your one shot at the Super Bowl, kind of sucks. You're right. What do you think, Marcus?
Hey, you're right. I think the funniest thing I've seen all week has been the post on my Instagram and IG feeds where Mike Evans is walking off the field in the NFC Championship game, and the guy comes up to him like, hey, guy, it's a celebration down here. He's like, oh shit, it's a celebration. It's cool. I'm not used to this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
true.
I just love that. You know what I'm saying? Because like you say, it's a lot of these guys first time. Mike Evans has been in the league forever right now. He's a vet, you know what I'm saying, proven. So for him to get this shot, it's a lot of guys who go and don't even get a shot at all, at this big game.
Both of you guys, right? I mean, I hate to say that, but
Marcus got a sniff though. He got a brief.
You got AFC Championship.
AFC Championship, we got close, you know what I'm saying? We should have been there, but
let me ask you guys, as former players, I've always been curious about this. Do you just accept it, or you guys, does it still kind of deep down a little bit hurt that you never got that experience?
There's a reason I want Tom Brady to lose. And it's bastard's been to 10 of these things.
Great point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Every year, I would love it. I even dreamed up scenarios. You always hear of, somebody getting injured the week of the Super Bowl, and then they pick up some random dude and just sign him.
Yeah.
Like at least 3 years after my career ended, I was like, man, maybe I could be that guy that randomly gets picked up just to practice for a couple of days.
Hey, the offense, you might be able to get brought in. Okay.
Hey, man, I can deliver water, whatever you need.
Yeah. What about you, Marcus? I mean, making it to the AFC Championship and being as close as you guys were, I'm believing it's the AFC Championship in New England, right?
Yeah.
That you went to. See, that has probably an extra level of hurt that we just don't understand.
Man, it hurts. To be honest, I didn't like Tom Brady forever. I absolutely. You were not my friend, Tom Brady. But
Was it 2 years in a row? 06 eliminated in San Diego, and then 07 in New England.
In New England,
Fucking
so
Tom
it was
Brady.
it's like Tom Brady just had like a dinner appointment or a dinner reservation to kick our ass out the playoffs. That shit stuck. But I mean, it does sting a little bit because especially when I first got out, like we went to the playoffs our first 4 years. So I just thought it was just like
that's how it goes.
That's just how it goes. Like you come out, you ball, you go to the playoffs, we trying to win a Super Bowl. And then the team injuries started piling up, the band started breaking apart, and you realize, dang, we're just struggling to get into the playoffs at this point in time. So you got to get it while it's good. You got to strike when you have it, and we didn't get a chance to get that. Especially that 14-2 year, we could have beat any team on the planet that year, in 2006, and we didn't get it, so it does hurt a little bit, but at the same time, it's a lot of shit that doesn't happen that you wish would happen in football that you just got to keep. I wish I would have won the Heisman or the Outland Trophy, but, shit doesn't happen. So, you just enjoy the time that you have and you just watch the next generation come up.
That's a great explanation you guys are giving, because you think about how, like, let's take Phillip, for example. Phillip has probably been in championship games his entire life, but the one that he needs to get to, he just couldn't get to. He was almost there, he couldn't get to it, and that's just one example of many examples of players who didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's just that's always interesting to me, because I feel like if it were me, I wouldn't be able to watch the Super Bowl, to be honest. I would be like, it would hurt so bad that I wouldn't be able to watch it. But that's just me, and I'm a little crazy. So
I went through a couple years where I was not into football. I didn't want to watch it because I wanted to be in it. And so I would assume there's a lot of people that do the same thing. And eventually you get around to, I don't know what year Marcus started playing football, but I played 1 year at Pop Warner, and in high school, college, and pro. So it is my life, and it felt good to get back to watching it and being a fan.
Yeah, actually, it's the same thing, Greg. Pop Warner, high school, then I kept it pushing. But football, that's the one thing. I was just talking about it this week with some other fans, and it's like in football, you got one game. You got to show up that one game. It's not like basketball where I'm playing the best of 5 or the best of 7. And it's just hard for a team that's not better than another team to beat them out of best of 5 series or the best of 7 series, right? But in football, you got to come up and show the play. And we all know that any team can get beat on any given Sunday, and you only get that one shot to come out there and prove yourself. So if you don't bring your A game that week, then guess what? It's out of the playoffs, on to the next round for the other team. And that sucks, but that's just the nature of the beast.
That's why the NFL is so great. The stakes are incredibly high, especially in the playoffs. And like you said, like you guys, that 14-2 year, you said you could beat anyone on the planet. And just so happens that day that the Patriots beat you guys and it ended the season. Who did they, in 2007, who did they end up playing in the Super Bowl?
It
was the Giants.
Didn't watch.
Was it the Giants? Was that the catch?
I think it was.
No, they were undefeated that year with the David Tyree catch, weren't they?
Oh yeah, you're right.
It wasn't the Colts and the Bears.
But they went twice though. The Giants played 2 years.
Isn't it amazing? They've been to so many that we don't even know who they played because they go so often.
It is crazy. I'm seeing the Giants, and let me just say, I know they weren't undefeated that year that you guys went to New England, were they?
No.
No, the year of the David Tyree catch was the
undefeated.
They lost their undefeated year, but Eli beat them twice in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. He won. I think the other time was like 2010 or 2011. But anyway, while I'm looking this up, because I should have had this ready to go, I wanted to ask Marcus about Eric Fisher being out. He's the left tackle for the Chiefs. That he was their number 1 overall pick. And let's talk about this real quick. How many guys get picked number 1 overall and they say like who? And that's who everybody said about Eric Fisher. But that dude's been so steady. And then how many people like I can't even think of someone off the top of my head, but big name gets drafted into the league and they don't do anything. But we got to give credit to Eric Fisher because he was a number 1 overall pick, took a lot of crap for being a number 1 overall pick, and he's been awesome. But how big of a loss is that, do you think, with the left tackle for the Chiefs, Marcus?
I think that's a big loss, and I didn't want to bring it up in the other segment because I knew that we were going to talk about this, and I didn't want that to drown out the Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. But to be honest, Patrick Mahomes doesn't have his left tackle right now, and he has turf toe. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 46 sacks on the season, and a very fast defense. Those things kind of add up to, like, if I've ever smelled the upset before, I think it's smelling like beef stroganoff.
I love beef stroganoff. Love it.
It might happen. You know what I'm saying?
Alignment always gives us food analogy.
It's a lot of ingredients happening there. You know what I'm saying? That, like, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can really win this right now, and it's like the Kansas City Chiefs have been beat up on the offensive line all year. You know, granted, a couple of their offensive linemen did opt out because of COVID early in the year, and then they just been dealing with injuries on. But we all know that the left tackle position is very important for a quarterback, and not having your left tackle and having an injury like turf toe, just even if it's not in the forefront, maybe in your subconscious, I feel like can kind of throw off the offense a little bit. On top of that, now I just have to lock up Tyreek Hill. I'm not putting him man on man. You know what I'm saying? And Travis Kelce, like you're depleting your bag right now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if Kansas City can do it without Eric Fisher. You know, we need the left tackle. I'm sorry, guys. We need him.
I believe you. That's why I'm thinking Brady too. By the way, you guys did play the Patriots when they were 18-0. So they did play the Giants that year. And you guys had a good shot at beating the Patriots in the AFC Championship when they were undefeated. And you guys probably would have beat the Giants if you would have went to the Super Bowl. So
yeah,
I don't want to say what ifs. I don't, because it's not going to happen. So
can I move on to case study? Camarillo case study.
Of course. Is that even a question?
No, but it's just my intro because I like it. The Bucs last week, 2 weeks ago, played a team missing their number 1 left tackle. The Green Bay Packers were missing Bakhtiari, and we saw the headache that Aaron Rodgers was dealing with. And it was literally a one-play game. If Aaron Rodgers may have 1 split second more during that game because his left tackle's in, they could win the game. And so Big Mac has a streak of convincing me on important points. And I'm convinced that is, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not fully convinced, but that is a huge factor in Patrick Mahomes being able to be the Patrick Mahomes that we're used to seeing.
Yeah. Let's make some picks though, guys. We're running up on the end here, but I want to see who you think is going to be. Let's just make predictions like let's go with who's going to be your MVP. We were talking about this on the show today. I would pick Travis Kelce as my MVP because he's the only guy on the planet that can play the tight end position the way he does it, and he's a difference maker every time he steps on the field. But I guess you have to have a quarterback to get the tight end the ball, so you can't really have that. But if anyone is going to win MVP that's not Patrick Mahomes, I have to think it's going to be Tyreek Hill if the Chiefs win. Now, obviously, if the Bucs win, it's got to be Brady. That's just how it goes. But what do you guys think? Are you thinking Tyreek Hill? You thinking Patrick Mahomes? Anybody else off the radar that you guys are thinking for MVP?
If we're going Chiefs side, no. If the Chiefs win, it's going to be because of they scored like they normally do. We're talking 35 and up points, and it's going to be because Patrick Mahomes. If someone outside of Patrick Mahomes, it would, like you mentioned, Tyreek Hill because he has 6 catches for 230 yards. But like Big Mac mentioned, that has to be the focus of your defenses. To me, you can't really guard Tyreek Hill. To me, it's about tackling Tyreek Hill. You find a way to gang tackle him. Give up a 5-yard slant, no problem. Don't let that 5-yard slant be an 80-yard touchdown. So I like what you said, Scraby, that if Travis Kelce and Tyreek Holmes are so effective, it's because Patrick Mahomes was working some magic. So I think Patrick Mahomes will be the MVP.
I agree with you. I also think Tyreek Holmes would be a great
Tyreek Holmes.
Tyreek Holmes.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah, that guy is amazing. He's amazing. What do you think, Marcus? Who's going to be the MVP? Well, I don't even know if Marcus can pick a Chiefs side MVP because he's so on the Brady side.
Hey, listen. First of all, Travis Kelce is a monster. So
Yes.
I think that Travis Kelce, honestly, is that sneak MVP. The reasons why I'm gonna give you, for the reasons we talked about earlier. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have his left tackle, so he's going to be up under a little distress, which means he might not be able to take those big shots down the field. So I might need the outlet in Travis Kelce a little bit. I might lean on you a little bit more this game if I'm really going to be efficient. And then on the other side of the ball, instead of Tom Brady, because I've seen Tom Brady throw so many interceptions, even when he has one this year, I'm going to go with Mike Evans. A game like this for a veteran of his caliber, he can explode on this field. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the secondary of KC.
Yeah. Well, there's so many different possibilities in this game, and I think that's why it's so much fun, this game, over other games that we could have had the matchups for, because we could talk about it all night. How many different people are going to be MVP? You could just keep going down the list. Who knows? Antonio Brown may have 200 yards and becomes MVP.
NFL is not allowing that. That's not.
That is pretty funny. Now, Tom Brady, side note, he was asked this week if he wanted to play until 45. He's 43 years old. I don't think I can tell Tom Brady he's not able to play anymore because he's proven me wrong every single time. But just like, we're never gonna see a guy like Tom Brady. Like when I'm watching the Super Bowl, I'm gonna savor it a little bit more just in case it's Tom Brady's last Super Bowl, so I can tell my kids and my grandchildren I was alive for Tom Brady, and that's awesome. So I don't know.
He'll be back, man. It's nuts to think
He'll be back.
He'll be back. The only other superhuman-esque quarterback that's still doing it is Drew Brees, and it's looking like he might tap out. Tom Brady's going to be back for one, if not two more, which is nuts to say.
It really is.
But the dude looks good, man. He looks, I mean, he's lost some arm talent, but that Botox got him looking right.
He got the Botox.
Oh, I thought you said bow tie. You said Botox. Is that he does look, his face looks a little bit, it looks a little bit fresh.
He looks fresh. I mean, yeah.
A little stiff. I will say that Tom Brady does look good, but my question was to kind of play off of that. Like, what do the Bucks do without Tom Brady? Because
that's a great question.
Like, if Tom Brady leaves, 80% chance Gronk doesn't come back. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's 100% chance that Gronk doesn't come back.
We don't know what AB is going to be doing, you know what I'm saying, whether or not he's going to be there long term. So now you're stuck with, the two wide receivers and a few backs, that as your whole offense. And I don't think they look like the same team. So if he doesn't come back, that's a big nosedive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if he does, I think they could be solid again next year.
Oh, you know who's the backup quarterback for the Bucks?
Blaine Gabbert. I had to Google it.
Former 49ers starter and former first-round pick, Blaine Gabbert. It always comes back to the 49ers. You guys know this by now with me. It always ends up coming back to the 49ers somehow.
How do you do this shit, Scrappy? How do you
I don't know. I have a photographic mind with the 49ers for some reason. But
one final question.
Yeah.
Before we close up.
I don't know why I yelled, yeah.
But who will be the 49ers quarterback next year?
Okay.
Let's hear it.
I do think that Jimmy G's on his way out. The writing's on the wall. There's too many rumors out there from too many different trusted sources that the 49ers are not into Jimmy G. Now, I have a semi-source, and that source knows someone in the organization and says that they are absolutely trying to move on from Jimmy G right now. And that conversation that I had has moved me into that direction of Jimmy G will no longer be with the team. Who's going to play quarterback? I have no idea because they're not going to get Deshaun Watson. I feel like he's going to I feel like he's going to be in Houston. I just feel like he's going to be in Houston, but he looks great in the red and gold. He does all those Photoshop things.
That would be sexy.
He looks great.
If Deshaun goes to the 49ers, I am a 49ers fan. You hear me? It'll be me and you, Scrape.
It's not the most stable franchise in the world. I cannot stand Jed York. I think he runs the team like an idiot, but they still have the cachet behind the name, and they have the fan base, and they have all that, but I don't think he's going to go to the 49ers. Honestly, I think they're probably going to go with like Nick Mullins and draft someone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do. You got to trade Jimmy G though, because his contract is $27 million. That's why Matthew Stafford, I thought he would be great for the 49ers. He was coming in at $20 million. Big fan of his and the way he plays quarterback, but I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the 49ers? Because they're a team that was in the Super Bowl last year, and they're probably not going to get back here, let's say, in the next 5 years. So,
with a quarterback like Deshaun, they're there next year.
Yeah. If something changes like that.
I mean, and then they still have a monster defense, you know what I'm saying? And they still have one of the best tight ends in the league as well. I love to watch Kittle play.
Yeah.
You know, so y'all have some players. You definitely got to make a big play with the quarterback position. That's the only thing that can save y'all in 5 years.
Jimmy is he's so dreamy. He's like the perfect quarterback for the 49ers. He's just chiseled looks and terrible arm and bad ankle. Bad ankle.
Man, it's rough. I think they stick with Jimmy G, man. 1 year ago on this day, on this month.
It was yesterday.
Starting quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Bro, Colin Kaepernick was too. Nobody gave a fuck.
And he should be a quarterback too.
Colin Kaepernick should also have a ring.
Yeah, he should have a ring. You know what I'm saying? That does not matter. What have you done for me lately? It seems like how they feel.
Yeah. All right. Last thing we're gonna do before we go out. 2 pros and a Joe. If you want to make any predictions, or if you want to ask us questions, 2prosandAJoe@gmail.com. If the Chiefs win, this will happen. And we'll start with Marcus.
If the Chiefs win, then they continue to be the reigning champions and the best team in the NFL for probably the next 3 or 4 years.
Really? Okay. All right.
I mean, they're already there. They're the creme de la creme. Right?
What about I should have phrased this differently. What about if the Chiefs win, what will happen in the game?
Oh, if the Chiefs win.
Yeah, I didn't phrase it correctly. That was my bad.
I like the other format.
Okay, let's do the other format. Let's stick with that because we've already talked about the game. Greg, what do you think? If the Chiefs win, this will happen.
If the Chiefs win, I will declare.
I do declare.
Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback play we've ever seen.
What?
He will have been. I'm not saying
better than Tom Brady. We just got done talking for 20 minutes about Tom Brady's the GOAT.
I'm not saying GOAT career. He's got a long way to go. He will have played the highest level of quarterback we've ever seen.
Bro, I think a lot of Patrick Mahomes is Andy Reid too, right?
Could be.
What better coach to have than Andy Reid at a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes? Like he's like a kid in the candy shop right now, probably when he comes to hear what Andy Reid got. Oh, you know what? Fuck it, we gonna run the pitch option with the left tackle this week. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of stuff going on. Like it's like you can just make it up. But he is immaculate. So I can't say anything about that.
And for me, if the Chiefs win, this will happen. Andy Reid will finally get rid of all the stigma of him failing multiple times leading up to his first win last year. People will finally respect him when he deserves to be respected years ago. All right, Greg, if the Bucks win, this will happen.
Tom Brady will come back and win another one and then retire as the ultimate GOAT, which he is already. But
I mean, you can't write you couldn't even write that, and I would believe it if it wasn't like for Tom Brady.
I mean, if he wins this Super Bowl with no offseason on a new team with a new staff and a new system, what would stop them? And they've got some free agents, like Godwin's going to leave, but what would stop them from getting better when there is an offseason even though he's going to be 44 years old.
No, I buy it. I buy it. I do. What do you think, Marcus? If the Bucs win, this will happen.
If the Bucs win, Tom Brady steps up a notch in the all-time GOAT talk. He'll probably go down as the GOAT of maybe all sports, especially going to a new team, winning in his first year. The amount of Super Bowls that he's already had. Like, I honestly feel like he wins the GOAT talk. I still think it determines whether or not Drew Brees comes back, whether or not he comes back. I just think they have like this dick swinging contest that we don't.
Well, Tom's winning big time, I think.
I'm not gonna ask you how you know that shit's crazy.
Well, yes. Tom. Yeah, Drew needs to pack up his dick and go home. I mean,
fuck out of here.
Drew's dick is down to his knee, while Tom's dick is down to like his ankle, and he's about to be on the floor with his foot. He's about to be able to kiss the floor.
Oh man, get that parental advisory stamp on.
It'll be on there. It'll be on there. All right. Well, if the Bucs win, this will happen. Tom Brady will show the world he has a huge dick. All right. We are looking forward to the Super Bowl. Hope you guys like the 2 episodes this week. Hopefully Marcus is okay down there. He didn't expect that to happen.
No, I didn't see that one coming.
But that's what I'm good for. Crazy talk. We'll be back with you next week to wrap up the Super Bowl, and we'll wrap up our first season of Two Pros and a Joe. Can't believe we're almost there, but hopefully you like the 2 episodes this week. Make sure you reach out to us at Catch Camarillo, at Marcus McNeil 73, at Matt Scraby, at Odd Thomas 71, and at Two Pros and a Joe. Have fun watching the Super Bowl. Look for Tom Brady's dick.
No, don't.
Whoa.
Oh, wait. We're not supposed to? We're not supposed to look at his dick? We're not supposed to?
No.
Oh, man.